Hello, welcome back to Jesse's Vintage Garage, and we got the Triumph Trident on the lift right now. We're going to work on some stuff on this bike. We're going to work on taking the rocker boxes off because of the silicone. We talked about this a while back in the restoration videos, but I'm not sure if it's going to be a restoration video or just a procedure video. But anyway, to do this, unlike Bonneville's and Tigers and stuff, the push rod tubes are connected to the rocker boxes. So we will not be taking the head off or the cylinder parts, but when we take this off, they're going to come up too. So we'll work on them as well, and that gives us a good chance to put new O-rings in here anyway and all that good stuff. Just double check. Nothing's really leaking, so but it wouldn't hurt to just finesse it some and give the new stuff. So we're gonna get started here. We're working on taking the mounting hardware off here in the front, and we got to take off this one back here. We got the fuel lines loosened from the petcocks here, and we're going to remove the tank and set it off to the side for now. So just do that real quick. We got to keep it away from the kids running around here. So with the tank removed, next few steps here we'll be doing, we're going to be removing these braces here, the head steadies that go onto the rocker box here. There's one on both sides, one over here and one over there, and then we're going to remove this. Maybe we'll be able to set it up across here, and then we'll be removing these, and then we're going to replace these worn out looking nuts. The finish isn't as good, so we're going to have some new shiny ones back on there like they're supposed to be, and we'll do it both sides for sure, and then we'll go from there. So we're working on taking the rocker box cover lids off here, and these center bolts, they're actually not really tightening down to anything on the inside. It's hollow under here. So these are actually just kind of like somewhat snug to this item here. And there's a specific tightness, but because I already broke this one loose, and it was very, somewhat tight.
You can show these.
And that one opened up right away, and then these back here, if I can get to it, but anyway, I can't. But anyways, these outer ones, they actually have something solid to go into and tighten up against, so these get a little bit different torque than the center ones. Remember that, because when we go to put it back together, we'll talk about this again, but remember that, because what happens is if you over torque these, ends up banana shaping this and caving it all in and then breaking it right through here.
And it'll leak forever.
Yeah, it'll leak forever. So, and I've seen some covers like this at swap meets before, but that are kind of like warped and on their way.
Or cracked.
Or even cracked, yeah.
They crack because you over tighten them till this quits turning. It'll crack these.
And I don't think that we're going to run across that as a problem with these covers, but we'll find out when we take it all apart. This outer one, 7/16.
Yep.
Okay.
And as you can see why we're taking it apart. Look at this.
Oh yeah, it used all out.
Silicone everywhere.
Yeah, so see how this is hollow right here? That didn't have nothing to tighten up against, really. That's just a gasket piece, but it's way down in there. Now these are shouldered or whatever, and they go down a ways inside there.
We give you the feeling that it's going to tighten up solid, but it don't.
Yeah, anyway.
Or you shouldn't.
Right.
If you do, you got a problem.
Yeah. Right, on to some more stuff here. Alright, we got both covers off, and yeah, there's evidence of the stuff going in here, and on the other side of the flange part.
It's loose.
Yeah, and it's all loose too.
See, look at it.
I didn't see any chunks down in there, but that's maybe a good sign. But anyway, this isn't how it's supposed to be. We're not going to put it back together like this. So anyway, we're going to keep going forward here and work on taking the rocker boxes off now. But we should be able to avoid taking the carbs off And yeah. Oh, the other thing was there's a difference between these lid parts. There's an intake and exhaust. So, and they say it on the inside. We're gonna remember that, but they say it on the inside. They're like intake and EX for exhaust. So it's because the distance between these two holes is different than the distance between these two holes. You can switch them around, but then it wouldn't sit right. And you need that to sit right for the clearance on the rockers when they go up and down. So anyways. And they don't look bent. Look pretty straight. We'll clean them up though and verify that again.
Socket fit on there?
We're going to work on replacing these nuts now on both sides. We're going to do one at a time so it doesn't mess with any sort of torque. And
we don't want to replace that.
Yeah, we don't want to replace that gasket or anything like that. So what we'll do is we'll just take one out and tighten it, the new one, new washer, new nut up to 18 foot-pounds. It's according with the manual there. Wow. Sure it's 18. I don't know what they put it at.
It probably it's got stick shift.
Oh, there it goes. I don't know what you wanted to use that short socket for, but I needed the longer one to get out away from that rocker box. The studs look like they're in decent shape. They're not all rusty, so
18.
Should be okay with that.
18. Here's 18. 18. You're going to pull the nut and the washer off. I got new washers and nuts.
Got Yep. 15, 16, 17, 18.
Washer off.
Yeah, washer's off.
Okay. I'm going to make it look nice again. Because those are rusty.
Yeah. Right. Do one over there now?
Yep. Take the other one.
Yeah, we're getting ready to torque down the last nut there. Then we'll be ready to work on getting the rocker boxes off. There we go. Looks better already. Got the 3 Allen screws out right now, and then we're going to work on taking the smaller hex bolts here out. There's a couple of them. And then we'll leave these bigger, heavier ones that have the nut on it later. Take them out next. So, after this, actually, what size were these?
7.
Oh yeah, that's right, 7/16. We'll take them out completely, and then we'll move on to the bigger ones, like I said.
And we're going to crack these loose all at once.
Yeah. Good. Work on getting the rest of that out.
Okay, it's really
Great.
loose. You go ahead. Take it off
Wow.
the hand. When they quit ratcheting, it's done.
Yeah. Now we broke them all loose. We'll just, yeah, we'll take them out by hand. This one over here is kind of stuck again.
It is?
Yeah,
Which one?
this one.
This one is?
Just couldn't get it by hand, I guess.
There, it's loose.
Got tight again. I can't move with my fingers.
All right. Turn. Oh. Here. It's loose, but...
Yeah, it's just enough to keep from not being able to do it hand. There it goes. Clears the frame just barely here. There's the wires in the way. Sure. Gotta get that out of the way. Wow. It's like really tight here.
So's this one. But it makes it.
Just gotta. There we go.
And it's loose. Oh, of course, they put silicone on those too. Nice.
On the push rod tubes.
On the push rod seals. Wow.
Well, they didn't want it to leak. This was what their idea was, to fix
I
that.
guess it didn't leak, but it wasn't very good either.
There's a little bit of some silicone on the spring, and then I think that's red paint on there, but
There's some boogers.
this is silicone here. Anyway, clean this up.
Doesn't want to silicone on the springs.
I got the push rods out and laying here like they were in there. This is the left side one, and these are just in the right order, outside on the right side and inside on the right side. Now, I noticed on each one of these push rods they have silicone residue on there. It's loose and moves around, so we'll make sure we clean these up. Yeah, this one had a bunch on it. Yeah, this one's actually adhered to it. It's not moving off, but anyway, we gotta clean this up because this seal was supposed to be white at one time, and I got silicone all over it. This helps seal, and there's chunks of silicone right there. We'll clean these up, make them shiny, and then we'll clean all that up too. We got the gasket taken off. We gotta clean up the rest of the residue that's remaining on the gasket. And then clean off the surface. We'll be ready to put that back pretty much. And then we gotta switch these out, clean that up too. It looks like they got gasket or silicone residue all over the top of that tappet piece as well. So, yay. We got this all cleaned up here on the part of the head here, and it's ready for the gasket to go on here. The gasket we're putting on is kind of like a head gasket. It's composition. It's got like a metalish to it, and it's got paper all embedded in each other. So technically, you don't need to have sealant with those kind of gaskets, right?
Right, it has built-in sealant.
Yeah. So when it gets compressed and
gets
torqued
hot,
down and
it
hot,
melts.
it starts to melt and ooze out, and then creates another seal, a bonding agent between the two flanges that are getting pushed together, and then it seals up that way. So anyway, we had cleaned off all the remaining gasket and dug out and cleaned out all of the little silicone chunks that had fallen down inside there, and as well, and that all these other ones, and inside these grooves here, we cleaned all them out too. Here's the intake rocker box, and he's working on cleaning that up right now.
Getting all silicone off.
And yeah, I didn't. I glanced at it earlier and didn't see no like excessive wear on the rockers or anything.
No, they actually feel good.
So I'll finish cleaning this up and get ready to maybe put this back on. Got this rocker box all cleaned up really good. We're getting ready to put it on. It looks pretty good. And these caps in the back were put there to fix a problem that they had with the 650s. What they were trying to like line up the push rods and get them into the actual rockers. Now this cap allows you to actually line them up better and see where they're at, and then put it in there, and then when you got it, you put the cap back in. It's kind of a nice feature, especially on a huge rocker box like this compared to a Bonneville or a Tiger one. The 750s, they started the oval windows, because before that the 650s all had the round caps.
Except for 72.
Except for 72, he says over there.
72 650s did it, but it was like...
Oh, that's right. Wait, I think I remember talking about that in a Tiger video. Yep. So then, yeah, 71 had the cap.
72.
71 had the cap on the side. 72, they went to the oval. Then 750s going forward all had the oval caps, and including the Tridents, of course. Something nice about this 73, got
74.
Or actually 74, because not in 73, but 74s, they went to this swivel.
74s and 5s.
Yeah, 74s and 75s had this swivel rocker piece here, where it actually sits flat on the actual valve, and then it rotates on the inside of the rocker.
So that keeps the valve from wearing.
So
the tip doesn't get that groove.
So yeah, like
it doesn't get a groove in it. It'll
like
be all nice, just like they just round them.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how they all look. Right
So they sit right there, and then they sit flat on here, and then they just pivot inside that socket.
And they slide evenly.
And then it doesn't allow this to get all cupped and wore and have a round hole in it or a flat spot or any kind of sort of weird wear. It stays flat. Like he was saying, it stays like almost like it's factory grind on the valve. So, right, we're gonna get ready to put them on now. So we got the push rod cleaned up. We got the other one cleaned up too, but I just happen to be holding it. These are the actual seals we're gonna be using for
gaskets. They got stainless metal in the middle, and they got a gasket material on the outside and the other side, and they are exactly like the head gaskets that are that seal up on like on a Norton or a Triumph. And when you torque these down, you know, it's basically a composition gasket. So when you tighten this down, these don't crawl around and squeeze out and bend and do all weird stuff, because they just work really good. So that's what we're going to use. And a lot of people have been using quad seals on the pushrod tubes, and if you do that, you put the quad seal on the top, and you put one of these at the bottom,
like normally would.
Like normally. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put this one gasket on, and we're going to put this on, and then we're going to lift it up, and we're going to get a measurement here, because I've got 3 different thicknesses here of these bottom seals. So
we could just put what was in it before, but the problem is
then we wouldn't use this, and I don't know what the original gasket was.
Right. Yep.
And I don't even know if they even cared. You know, I don't know nothing about this bike. I'm just knowing that this is what we're going to do, and we're going to see how that works out. So
we have the gasket sitting there, we have the push rods sitting in here, and we have the O-rings like we were just talking about, but we have to make sure that this sits above here, because because it otherwise it binds on it and actually doesn't sit in the right spot.
Or ruin our gasket.
Because the reason for that is because we don't have one down here yet, and that's what gives us our distance off of that. So I'm just gonna run the rocker box in here and see how this looks.
Got it?
Yeah.
Now all we're going to do here is we're going to put this, and these 3 in here.
Okay. So here's this one. Make sure it's not touching the gasket. We got the push rod push rod tube pushed all the way up into the rocker box, and he's gonna turn around and put a bunch of shimps in here to figure out our gap. With that number, we'll be able to figure out what kind of rubber washer we put in here, but we have to have 30 thousandths in squeeze.
Plus 30.
Plus
this,
30.
And this just fits.
Okay, so we're gonna figure out what that number is.
We gapped this with the caliper.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a bunch of different stuff sitting here again.
And we got 115. So we got it, well, actually it's 16, 17, 117. And so we got to go plus 30, or with if we're gonna budge, we're gonna go above more squeeze. So we're gonna go. There is 10. There's 20. There's 30 right there. Okay.
So with our gaskets, we got some actual like shim gaskets here too.
This came with the set, and then if you have to, if you don't get there with these, with the bunch of different sized ones that you get to go with, there's 3 different sizes here. Well, with the thickest one and the thickest gasket, we get
what we got there?
Well, just a minute. I gotta open it up and get it in here. Okay, there we go. And now we got 52. Okay, so that's, now we take 30 off of 52. So we're going to come back to 42. That's 10. That's 20. That's 30. So we're 5 thousandths strong. And that's okay. I'd rather have 5 thousandths more than 5 thousandths less. And we couldn't get there with a gasket that is a lot thinner. That's like 20 thousandths less. And we can't have that. We can't have anything that's less. So, and we're going to use X-rings on the top. And these are more solid, so they won't give as much. So that, all 30 thousandths is going to come from this. So you have to think about it. All 30 thousandths is going to come from this. So here's none. Okay. I can get about by hand, I can get about
almost 20.
I can get about
Oh yeah, 20. Yeah.
So I don't know if I can get 30 or not, or 35, but it is what it is. And we're going to see what it looks like once we start compressing this down.
So we've got another combination here. We got 25 and a 30, you were saying, weren't you?
We got, yeah, we either go with 35 thousandths squeeze, or we go with 25 thousandths squeeze. So 5 under or 5 over. Now one thing to consider is that these X-rings don't compress hardly at all. And typically you stick one of these on the top and one of these at the bottom, or no, one of these at the top and one of these at the bottom, and they equally squeeze. So the 30 thousandths squeeze is typically in thinking that you're using 2 of these. And so maybe the 25, it would be fine. And the reason we're going to use this gasket is because that's what my gasket set has, these in there for that reason, to get you close. There's 2 different thicknesses. There's this little thin one, and there's the thick ones. And there's a little bit, about 3 times thicker.
Yeah, and we need 4, so we can't like stack gaskets or anything.
Well, we shouldn't. Yeah.
Should not, yeah, because you'll create a.
If I'm going to use one, I'm going to just use one, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put the colored side down and the dark side up, and it's going to sit against this.
And then we have to go through all this again on the front one because it might be different.
It
or
may
the
be
same.
different.
But we had to make sure that we had at least 4 of each just in case it was going to be the same. So.
Right. So we're going to try it with this with 25, and we're going to see what it looks like when it compresses down.
We're making sure we put the gasket towards the tappet block, and then he's putting that seal in right now. And we gotta do it to this one over here yet, but yeah.
They don't exactly just fall.
Doesn't? Okay, we're gonna tinker with it a little bit.
Flathead.
There we go. We're putting the gasket in there.
What's going on here?
It's not going down in the front there. There it goes.
You go?
Yep, there you are.
Now we're going to put this in. Start with the rear first.
There we are.
It's not twisted, right?
I don't look like it. It's kind of up in the front there, but in towards the cylinder. But the push rod tube will fix it.
Pushes down.
Yeah, that should fix it. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
He's working on applying grease to the sockets on the tappets. That way he can get a positive connection when he puts the push rod down on there. He knows he's going into the right one, because that one has 2 and the one over here has 1. This will be easier on this side, but that one over there, yeah, has 2.
Push this back. Okay, put this in here. And
Yeah, we
we got to negotiate
we gotta make sure that they all get set.
hooked in. This is stuck.
Let me okay, I got this one stuck. I think I'm stuck over here. That's what your problem is, probably. Okay, there we go.
There's that one. There's that one.
Got them both?
I think I got them both.
Alright, then we got this guy over here.
Is he in yet?
No.
Hey, just a minute.
It should line up. It looks like it's right there, but...
I'm starting this bolt so it doesn't move around a lot. Oh, this one came out. Is it in now?
Looks like the one I'm looking at. The one I can see is.
Yeah, got them both in. Okay. Let's What's wrong over here? This one isn't in?
No, it's
you
not.
gotta move. I gotta get my hand in there. It's in.
Oh yeah, you got it in.
Yeah, it's in.
Then you got that bolt going down, and we just got to double check over there. I don't think I saw them move when he was setting that one, but
I could have. I gotta see the light.
looks like they're in from here, this angle.
Yeah, they're in.
Alright, good.
Okay, they're in. Without ruining the gasket.
Oh, you're talking about these Allen screws?
Yeah.
So yeah, we made sure that the holes all lined up when we put it on, but just start them, and if you can feel the threads start to engage, you know that you're not tearing in the gasket.
Right. It goes into the hole. Right? It should be okay.
And as we bring this down, it'll...
No, we're just gonna just finger tighten them.
Yeah. Just need some help there, but...
Now there's these inner ones that don't have the...
Yeah, it was the long ones.
They're all long. Let me get this out of here.
Has to go right up against that backbone of the frame. The wires cannot be in the way. This is the tough one over here. Alright, we're working on getting this down. Well, as we're putting this rocker box down, we need to make sure that on 74s that you check for them little them flat, what are they called?
Swivel feet.
Swivel feet. We're gonna make sure the swivel feet, those little balls and socket with the flat spot that engages onto the valve, like I was talking about. The flat spot actually is engaging into...
It's flat.
It's flat.
Flat to flat.
And going to the valve and not like on a ball part of it. Otherwise, you'll have a way out of whack adjustment and it won't be doing what it's supposed to be intended to be doing. So we gotta adjust the valves anyway, so we got them all loose. We just got done double checking all that stuff. Okay, so while with the rocker box being pretty much snugged down somewhat by hand, we're checking these rubbers out here and making sure that these 5 under, you call them 5 under?
Yeah.
The 5 under ones are going to be enough, and they don't move around, and everything seems to be tight. So
They're 25,000 squeeze instead of 30.
okay, 25,000 squeeze instead of 30. Right? I don't know if you can
And
hear.
25 ought to be plenty because the top ones aren't going to compress hardly at all.
Right.
So it should be plenty.
And we're not fully torqued yet, so.
No, we're not told.
And they're not moving around, so. Alright, so on this bolt here that goes through here, it's actually a stud that goes all the way through. It's a head bolt. These 4 larger ones are actual head bolts. These get torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. And the rocker box bolt, which is the out one almost, and the outermost one over there, and these 3 Allens along here. Those are all rocker box screws. And they're 6 foot-pounds. So with this bolt or stud, this nut actually tightens down to the stud here, and it comes together like a bolt. And this is where the head steady stacks on to and tightens to.
They've got to be 18.
Yeah, they have to be 18 foot-pounds. Just thought I mentioned that. It was kind of interesting.
Do the center ones first.
go.
The outside ones. Those are 9/16.
I think they're half also.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, half.
I thought you said they were 9/16.
This the outermost ones get smaller, so that's why that's maybe. There we are. Another one over there. Alright, cool. Now we're just working on the rocker box screws. Alright, we got it converted to inch pounds, so with being 6 foot-pounds, we times that by 12 times 6 gives us 72. So we got 72 inch-pounds set up.
I need an extension.
And gotta get ready to torque them down here. There we go. One down. There we go.
Now I need to set 16.
Oh, yeah, right here. There it is. Now we're going to put this gasket on and the cover.
Well, we got to set the valve.
Oh, well that's true. Yeah, duh. Yeah, we got to set the valves first. Alright, that'll be the last thing we do then. Alright, maybe onto the front one now, huh?
Yep.
So the front one, of course, is the same procedure as the rear one. There isn't much difference here, right now anyway. So we're going to work on taking all these bolts off across here. And these Allen screws out here, and we'll be able to pull this up. There's a lot more room up here, so we did the hard one first. But yeah, we'll work on getting this out. So we got the rocker box removed, and it's just embedded everywhere with silicone. And along here as well, we got silicone residue on all the valves.
All the springs.
And on the springs, yes. And then push rod tubes again and seals. It's actually down in the threads here. This actually got all tore up from the bolt coming out because it wasn't quite. Didn't look like it was quite in the hole quite right. But anyway, we got some cleaning to do here. We'll work on this for a little bit. Get ready to get this thing back together here on this side. We got these gasket surfaces all cleaned up now really well. A lot different looking now than it was. So we're gonna work on cleaning the rocker box and the outer cover here. Get all that grime off of this one. We're working on putting the rocker box down, and we got the push rod tubes up in there. We're doing the initial test here, the thickness here on the bottom. So we got the push rod fully engaged into the rocker box. We'll be able to get in here with the feeler gauge and see what we have for a gap, and add our 30,000 squeeze, and then go from there.
Or 25.
Or 25, yeah, like we did last time. Because that X-ring, yeah, we've talked about it already though. So we've got a few more screws to tighten up yet. And I'm missing mine. Here it is.
Tighten this up some more.
Okay. With our measurement here, we had 110, and we add our 30, that gives us 140, and then we have our stuff setting up over here right now, ready to go on there. So we're gonna pop these back off and put our rubber thing on there with the gasket on the bottom, just like we did in the rear. And we'll be ready to tighten this box down hopefully here soon.
This box is actually going to be 5 thousandths tighter than the back one, but
So,
that's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that, but it's going to be 5 thousandths tighter than the rear one was, but it'll be alright. We got the O-rings in there, and we have the little gaskets on both of them there. We're ready to put the rocker box on now. We have the push rods installed. We did the grease trick again where we put a little bit of grease in the sockets down there so it engage. And here we go. Alright, now we gotta get the push rods to line up again.
They both in?
I,
Looks like it.
yeah, look, I can't see very well with the camera, but I can kind of see over here that it is.
Gotta lift the rocker box. Gotta lift the rocker box.
I'm trying to. There we go.
You got the push rod. You got to let go of the rocker. You can't.
I'm not lifting the rocker.
Yeah, you were.
Oh. Yeah, I might have been, I guess.
Yeah.
I need to lift the box only up. I'm sorry. I see what you mean.
I gotta be over there.
Get it?
No.
I didn't think so.
Screwdriver is actually getting in the way. I could get behind it. I've not had it with this screwdriver.
There it went. Alright, now we
The
gotta
other one's still in?
now we gotta check these.
Oh, wait a minute, I gotta put a bolt in there. Where's the bolt?
That one's in.
Where's the bolt?
Um,
Why do I have them all over here?
well, there was, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, see how you can't see nothing up the front here? I can tell the one's engaged. I can't see the
This
other
one
one.
fell out again.
Oh yeah, it did. Alright, we're gonna work on this here for a little bit. We got the push rods all seated and we're getting ready to put these bolts and stuff in and stuff. And with the front one here, we don't get to have a through stud. We have a long bolts that go through here. And these center bolts are different lengths. Of course, you can see that this one would be a shorter one because it's closer. And this one's taller. These are actual, like I said before when we were doing the rear, these are actual head bolts. You torque these down first. Otherwise, if you torque down the outer ones first, you can crack or break a rocker box, right?
Yeah. Or strip out the head.
Yeah, or the that's what I thought you were gonna say. Because what'll happen is you'll pull and it'll find its weakest link and break it. So anyways, we're gonna run these in to just get them ready to start the first the torque, but they're kind of rough, so we gotta make sure they get hand tightened down.
Just snug it up.
Okay, so now we got them all snug. Now we can work on the outer ones.
I don't really torque.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got to torque the first inner ones first. 18 foot-pounds. These are getting torqued down to 6 foot-pounds, 72 inch-pounds. Alright, there we are.
I'd say these gaskets are thicker because they got
Less clearance?
a lot more clearance.
Oh, with the being thicker.
So the
Oh yeah,
rocker box
it
is
would
higher.
raised. It would raise it. Yep. I was thinking opposite. All right. Well, we'll get. Now, what do we want to do? Do the
Is this-
lash.
This go like this? Is this how the spark plugs work?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, we'll see. The spark plug's out so we can rotate the engine easily, and we got the spark plug wires in their respective holes just sitting there so we remember where they go. We have red and black in the center, white and black on the far right side, and then black and yellow on the left side. Otherwise, anyway, we're gonna, as we rotate it, we're gonna be able to start setting our valve lash or valve clearance. We rotated the engine while having it in gear and using the back wheel, and we were able to have the right cylinder come up on compression, and then both of these were loose. So the valve clearance for intake is 6, and the valve clearance for exhaust is 8. So I have that one set actually right now. I was able to get this in there, and we had pretty good. It just slides in there. See if I can get it. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay. It just goes in. There we go. We got this one set up for 8 thousandths clearance. And it slides back and forth nice. And then we'll just rotate it for the next one that comes to compression.
One at a time.
Yeah.
Can't get my fingers in there. There we go. I think we got a valve that's open.
All right.
Just about the top dead center. You should be sitting ready to adjust.
All right. We'll adjust that. Again, 6 with the intake and 8 with the exhaust. Okay, always getting ready to set this up to 8 thousandths clearance. Oops. There we go. Alright, then on to the next set, right?
No.
Oh.
Back.
Oh, that's, yeah, that's right, you didn't do the intake one yet.
Tighten it up. When I tightened that up that last amount, I was afraid of that. That seems like a lot.
Seems loose?
Yeah, but yet it was in there hard. Bend that thing, okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's loose.
No, it's too tight.
Yeah.
Can't get the gauge out.
Yeah, there we go.
Alright.
Okay, now I gotta have a 6. Okay. I'm sure the 6 is too tight. Or loosen it. Because it was moving a lot. Yeah, see. Hold that. Hold that.
Yeah.
Does it move?
Yeah, it moved.
Yeah, it moves pretty easy yet though. Okay, hold on to it again.
The gauge. I don't get the gauge in the right spot. Hold on a second, it fell out. Ah, shoot. There it is. Okay, I'm more centered this way. It was all weird.
Still grooves?
Nope, it's tight.
No?
Kind of a little bit.
No?
Mm,
No? Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's stuck.
Is it stuck?
Now it moves a little bit. There we go.
No?
Yeah. Like you get it back in there too, yeah.
Okay, check it out. Okay. Go to the next one,
Alright. Well, we just got done doing the far left one, and now we're moving on to the far left exhaust.
It's way loose. Feels kind of like lock.
These other ones, yeah, you can't test the other ones because it's moved. See if they all sound the same when you rattle them around.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I can move it up and down. Hold that right there.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's just on the
Yeah, you don't want it too tight. You just want it just loose enough to where it slides.
right.
It's hard to find that spot because every time you go to tighten down, that other part you're trying to hold actually wants to turn too.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, that piece does not want to stay there.
That last little bit of tight, it just wants to go. That would be too loose. No, I think it's just right now.
Got it? Nice. Alright, we got the valves all set. We're going to put the plugs in now, and just in case stuff likes to fall down inside there, but it can't. You know? So. What's going on here? There we go. We gotta put the caps in on that side yet, right?
Yeah. I got.
Hopefully the plugging
I
in
got
the way.
those two cap. I got those two caps over here.
Okay, here's one. There you go.
I got new O-rings on them, and they're ready to go.
Cool. We got the caps in back there. They were kind of hard to get to, but we were able to get them with our special tool here. We used like this piece here, this tool here. We were able to get on it with an angle. It kind of fills the gap in pretty good that's on there. So that's slotted apart. And then now we're going to work on these caps up here. We're working on installing a set of rocker box breathers. This is an upgrade kit. Each kit comes with 2 of these, and they got 3 different holes. You tighten it up first, you find the most top hole, then you mark it, take it back out, and you put this little vent deal on the top one so it can actually vent out with this line, and use some blue Loctite or something to put these other set screws in the other 2 holes you don't use that are on the bottom. And then you just tighten that back up when you're ready to put it all together. This was kind of first introduced in '79 Bonnevilles when they went to the emission stuff to help ventilate the rocker boxes so they wouldn't blow out rocker box gaskets, and it helped with the, like I said, the emission stuff. So
It helps keeping rocker boxes from leaking.
no leaking, like blowing out the gasket or leaking anyway.
Case pressure.
Yeah, too much pressure in there. So we got one of the plugs installed already here, just like so, and then we route this hose up to the highest point we can and to the atmosphere so it breathes. So pretty neat. I'll see how well it works, huh? Just finishing up the last one here. Don't really bottom out, do they? You guys
Yeah,
put them
they do.
flush? Oh, they do?
Yeah, they bottom out. I tighten.
Nice. Perfect.
Yep.
Better than hoping that the
Loctite holds.
seals. Yeah.
Yeah.
It holds, yeah.
Well, it says in the instructions to Loctite them. That way they don't leak
Yeah.
through the threads.
That's what would happen. I mean, if there's any sort of oil residue, it'd go in there and go to the low spot and leak out.
Yeah. And then you'd have oil leak.
And each rocker box gets one.
Yeah. Unlike the 79, they just did it to the exhaust. Now it's possible that only one would be needed here on the exhaust. You know, but I don't know that. Maybe a triple has more pressure. I don't know.
Either way, it's a good concept. You can put them anywhere you want. We just happen to put them on this side.
Well, the spark plug's in the middle there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there wasn't going to be enough room anyway, because when they're together,
There's a spark plug by the other 2. And
That's
I thought it'd be hard to get the spark plug wire off and on if I put it there.
Nope, good call. That's probably the side you should put it on. Right. There you are, both in there. And then about ready to put the hose on this one. The vacuum line, or the line, breather line, if you want to call it.
Ventilation line, whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, it goes out to atmosphere, so it doesn't need to go into anything else. Yeah, it's not. There it goes. Oh, shoot. Funny.
I pulled it out.
There you go. Again.
Okay, come on. Get out of there. This thing did it probably.
There you go.
That probably
Perfect.
helped a little bit.
We can run our line, our wires.
Tie.
Yeah.
And
And
I
I tie it
might.
back there.
I might.
All right, we'll keep moving along here and finish up here soon. We got the rocker box gasket lid gasket here on, and kind of lining it up with these center ones. You don't tighten them first, and you tighten these down to the box first, and then you just hand tighten the center ones.
Yes.
That's the procedure of putting it back together. Otherwise, you end up, like I said in the very beginning, you end up cracking it and warping it and bending it. If you tighten that too tight first, and then you tighten here.
There you go. Look at it. It might be dirty. Is it dirty? Threads?
No, not really. Kind of oily-ish, but
Wipe it off first.
there's no crap in there I didn't see.
Thought it was dirty.
And these don't get tightened that much anyways. What is it like?
There's a torque spec.
It's like, what, 4 foot-pounds or something?
Probably the same as these other ones. Probably something
6?
like 6. How well? I don't know.
Yeah, so these are 6 foot-pounds, which is 72 inch-pounds, like the same ones with the Allens inside this box, and same with the end bolts here. Left that, yeah, I left them loose first, so. There we go.
And I'm not going to tighten these that tight.
Right.
These you just feel them get good and snug. And that's good.
Alright, we got the front one done. We'll finish up the rear one. Finishing up the rear cap here, rear lid, and just got done running these in there. Yeah, ready to torque the outer bolts first. 6 foot-pounds, 72 inch-pounds. Here we go. There we go, I got that all tightened up, and we got the oil line all tightened, and we have the plug wires all set up and hooked in, and now we're ready to put the, I believe, the head steady bolt braces back on here, and just go back to putting the tank back on, and then we'll be finished up pretty much. We got the head steady installed on both sides there, and we got it tightened down nice and tight, and we got this all back together. So we're gonna leave the tank off for now because we still gotta do some more work to it. Otherwise we'd be done here at this point. We'd put the tank back on and be good to go. But we're gonna come to an end here on this video. Hope you enjoyed everything. And the next video we'll be doing with this bike again, coming up right away would be we're going to be installing a tri-spark. So be on the lookout for that, and we'll see you again soon.